live with this broadcast from CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio. High drama has been unfolding in the national capital after trial court granted bail to Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal in the Liquorgate scam last evening. The Aam Aadmi Party was quick to celebrate. Leaders started arriving at Kejriwal's residence. Crackers were being bursted, and on social media, posts like Satyamev Jayate were being posted. Opposition leaders too were congratulating the Aam Aadmi Party, slamming the BJP. But their celebrations were short-lived. In less than 24 hours, the relief turned into a setback. The ED was quick to knock on the doors of the Delhi High Court seeking stay on the trial court order. Now, the Delhi High Court stayed the order till it heard the matter, and once again, we witnessed some fiery arguments in court between the ED and Kejriwal's counsel. The court has now reserved the order on the ED application. In some senses, what either side has been saying in court is not new anymore. It is more about exactly which way the evidence or the charges and the provisions of the PMLA are being read. Meanwhile, on the streets of Delhi, which, mind you, in a few months will see the assembly elections, this is the prime focus of parties concerned, particularly the AAP on one side and the BJP on the other. So, aside from the topsy-turvy legal battle, who is winning the narrative in this case? Is it sympathy for Kejriwal or backing for ED's case? We'll take that question to our guests in just a bit. First up, the trial court order, although it has been put in abeyance as we speak, was quite damning to the ED and its case overall. So take a look at what all it said as far as its order is concerned. First and foremost, it said that ED has not shown any direct link between Vijay Nair, the other key accused, and Arvind Kejriwal. It went on to say that there is lack of incriminating evidence directly linking Kejriwal to the alleged proceeds of crime, despite the ED's claims about his association with other accused individuals. The order also says that ED is silent about the facts as to how the proceeds of crime have been utilized in the assembly elections in Goa by the Aam Aadmi Party, while adding in fact that the bigger portion of the alleged amount remains to be traced out, and ED has even failed to clarify as to how much time it is required by them for tracing out the complete money trail. It also flagged that the agency is silent on certain issues raised by Arvind Kejriwal himself, primarily that he has not been named either in CBI or in the first case registered by the ED so far. Trial court order said that the accused has not been summoned by the court till date. Yet, somebody like the Chief Minister is lying in judicial custody at the instance of ED on the pretext that the probe is still going on. While the investigating agency relied heavily on the stringent bail conditions under PMLA Section 45, the court noted that the principles of legal fairness and presumption of innocence should not be overshadowed by court procedural technicalities. Perhaps the most damning of all portions of the order last evening was the part where the court suggested ED is not acting without bias, that it is artistically procuring material against Kejriwal and then artistically also withdrawing certain material to suit their case. Now, the Enforcement Directorate hasn't taken this sitting. It has, meanwhile, not held back against the trial court's order when it knocked at the Delhi High Court's door. So, what is it that the ED said today? The ED counsel called the trial court order perverse and one-sided. ASG SV Raju alleged that the trial court curtailed ED's arguments. ED counsel went on to allege that with wrong facts and wrong dates, the trial court came to conclusion that this case is nullified. ASG Raju informed the Delhi High Court that bribe givers have said that Kejriwal himself demanded the bribe, but the court has not considered this either. ED also said credibility of witness statements, which has been the fulcrum of Kejriwal's arguments, cannot be tested at this stage of bail. These are statements under Section 50 which are very much permissible in court. ASG Raju said that even Supreme Court did not stay the High Court's April 9 order affirming the legality of Arvind Kejriwal's arrest. While responding to the proceed of crime reference to Goa polls, ED said that an end-to-end money trail has been given to the trial court. It also maintained that the ED case is of vicarious liability, and since AAP is accused of money laundering, Arvind Kejriwal, by virtue of his position, is also liable. Now, amidst all of this, the conditions for bail in PMLA have come under highlight once again. So let me just quickly break down those conditions for you, because we keep hearing about how tough it is to get bail under PMLA, but we've seen that Arvind Kejriwal at least has got that bail at least once. That, of course, was an interim bail. Now, of course, they're seeking regular bail. So what are the twin conditions for bail under Section 45? Both of these conditions have to be met. Condition number one is that the court has reasonable grounds to feel or believe that the accused has not committed the said offence, and that the accused will not commit any offence while he or she is out on bail. And there are very few exceptions actually that are granted by a special court under these circumstances. These are given to women, minors, or those who are sick or infirm in other capacities. The big question we ask today is simply this. With all of this fight going on over the bail and the charges, a lot of it is something that we have already seen in the past. So who's winning the narrative war as we speak? That's coming up with our guests.
कल सवेरे 11 बजे कनॉट प्लेस हनुमान मंदिर में मिलेंगे।
लोअर कोर्ट के बेल का ऑर्डर अभी अपलोड ही नहीं हुआ, हमें ही नहीं मिला, किसी को मिला ही नहीं। क्या लेके ईडी हाई कोर्ट पहुंच गया और क्या सुन के हाई कोर्ट कह रहा है कि हम इसको सुनेंगे? अभी तो ऑर्डर ही नहीं आया, वे सुन क्या रहे हैं? ईडी चैलेंज किस चीज को कर रहा है?
देखिए, कानून अपना काम कर रहा है, ये कानून को अपने हिसाब से ढालना चाहते हैं, ऐसा हिंदुस्तान में तो संभव नहीं है।
Let's go across to our guests joining us. Harish Khurana, spokesperson of the BJP. Siddharth Sharma, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, will also be joining us. Meanwhile, Satendra Singh, former Deputy Director of the ED, is with us, and Ashwini Dubey is Advocate Supreme Court. Satendra Singh, why don't I start with you? You know, the ED has, faced a setback from the trial court. जो बातें ट्रायल कोर्ट ने बोली हैं वो बहुत ही कम सुनने में आती है कि कोई कोर्ट किसी इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग एजेंसी के खिलाफ बोले। पूरा केस ही ट्रायल कोर्ट के ऑर्डर ने रबिश कर दिया है ईडी के केस को। बट ईडी ने भी जवाब में, जब दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट में वो पहुंचे, उन्होंने बोला है कि कोर्ट ने उन्हें मौका ही नहीं दिया। आप कैसे देखते हैं कि ईडी जिस तरह से अपनी आर्ग्यूमेंट अभी आज दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट में रख रही थी, तो आपको लगता है कि क्या वो फ्रंट फुट पे खेल रहे थे या थोड़ा बैक फुट पे थे?
शिवानी जी नमस्कार। देखिए, जहां तक ये लीगल प्रोसीजर की बात है, इसमें न फ्रंट फुट की बात है न बैक फुट की बात है। मेरी अपनी ओपिनियन ये है कि जो लोअर कोर्ट ने जो जजमेंट दिया है उसमें कुछ वाइटल फैक्ट्स को उन्होंने इग्नोर किया।
बट ऐसा क्यों करेगा कोर्ट?
करेगा, जानबूझकर नहीं होता। देखिए, इसी ऑर्डर में आप कहीं पढ़ेंगे तो एक बार कहीं आएगा कि थाउजेंड्स ऑफ पेपर दोनों पार्टी ने सबमिट किए हैं। हाँ। और इतना टाइम नहीं है कि इनको देखा जाए। इसका मतलब कुछ चीज मिस की गई है। फिर आर्ग्यूमेंट्स जो है, यदि कोई एजेंसी या पार्टी सामने वाली टाइम मांग रही है तो कुछ आर्गुमेंट उनके पूरे सुनने चाहिए। मेरे अपना एक व्यक्तिगत ये राय है। बाकी तो देखिए, जो चेयर पे जज है वो सुप्रीम है, वो जो ऑर्डर करे कुछ भी करें। लेकिन आप देखिए, यही एविडेंसेस जो हैं अप टू हाईएस्ट कोर्ट ऑफ द लॉ, सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक गए। किसी भी कोर्ट ने, हाई कोर्ट्स ने, और लोगों की बेल पिटिशंस भी थी और इश्यू भी थे, इवन सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ऐसा कभी भी कोई आरोप नहीं लगाया कि एजेंसी बायस है जी। अब इनको ये कहां से नजर आ गया? विद ड्यू रेस्पेक्ट, मैं उससे एग्री नहीं कर रहा हूं या थोड़ा सा बुरा लगता। देखिए, ऊपर के कोर्ट से सबने सुना इस मैटर को जी, किसी ने भी एलिगेशन नहीं लगाया। और फ्रंट फुट की बात नहीं है। आज जो आर्गुमेंट दिए गए बहुत ही सही डायरेक्शन में दिए गए।
नहीं, बट एक और बड़ा सवाल जो उठाया गया है हरीश खुराना ट्रायल कोर्ट के ऑर्डर में, मैं मानती हूं कि दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट ने दोबारा ये मामला सुना है, एटलीस्ट बेल एप्लीकेशन दोबारा सुनी है या उस पे जो स्टे मांगा है वो दोबारा सुना है, बट फंडामेंटली वी कैन नॉट फॉरगेट, we cannot also just talk about some court orders and not about other court orders, regardless of the hierarchy involved here. You look at the trial court order, and as I read out, there are like some 8-9 points which are so damning on the investigating agency, but they're also damning on the case. For example, the trial court is saying you haven't established end-to-end trail of money, plus you're not even willing to say how long it will take you to establish this trail, so that this gentleman just keeps languishing in custody till you decide how long is enough.
Shivani, the matter is sub judice, and I think I'm nobody to comment on what trial court has commented. However, when you say this kind of comment which has been passed on by honorable trial court, they've also stated one line which I'm quoting it right now. It is not possible to go through these thousands of pages of the document at this juncture.
Yes, yes.
This is very significant point I'm talking about. When they have not read the paper, how can you pass on the judgment? At least now I'm not commenting it. I'm not saying keep getting up the bail. After getting the bail, Satyamev Jayate. Court is taking their own course. Yesterday, Aam Aadmi Party was celebrating like they have been acquitted from the case. And today, when Honorable High Court has stayed the orders, they were saying these agencies are doing a vendetta politics with them. So I'm not commenting on that kind of thing. I'm not using those kind of double standard with that. See, court is taking their own course, and these only courts have not given the bail of Manish Sisodis in the last 1.5 years. And such kind of hard remarks has also been placed, like 300 odd crore rupees money trail has been found. This is the Supreme Court's observation has been already been given. So I'm not commenting on that.
Okay.
But double standard, I'm highlighting on the double standard of Aam Aadmi Party. Like last night, they were happy with the Satyamev Jayate kind of thing, that we are very happy with the court proceedings. And today, when Honorable Court has stayed the proceeding, they are saying, "Hamare saath to vendetta politics hui."
Okay, okay. So you're saying you cannot celebrate one order and then not honor the other orders that courts have given, even higher courts have given, just because they don't go your way. Siddharth Sharma, is that not a fair point? That you must take all arguments in court plus all orders of all courts on the chin. You mustn't cherry pick yourself either.
I was touching my chin and you called me chin. That's okay. That was coincidental. Well, I think justice might get delayed, Shivani, but it doesn't get denied. Because educated people realize that justice has a gestation period. We realize that. And that is AAP's endorsement enough of Indian judiciary. Now, as far as celebrations are concerned, yesterday there was a cricket match between India and Afghanistan. The first over went very bad for India. Afghanistan scored 13 runs. So for a moment, we were despondent that we might lose. Then Bumrah came in, took wickets. So these are part of life. So those cannot be read too much. I'll just be very brief here, and without pointing fingers to anybody, this is only 7 sentences, and it will hardly take 70 seconds. In a civilized society, justice means the quality of being fair and reasonable. But for the entire BJP and its supporter ecosystem, they define justice as per existent law. To achieve this, they first enact an unjust law, then argue with courts to give verdicts within the prism of that existing law, not according to the justice. I think what happens after this is that judiciary goes on test here. So is sanity, both yours and mine, to dispense pure justice or to dispense justice according to law.
So you're putting even the courts on notice. That's a bit mighty of you. You're even putting the courts on notice. That
I didn't.
You better adjudicate in our favor or we will judge you.
No, I didn't. Actually, you can go back to because all these things are recorded. So whenever I speak with a sane mind. So I did not, because unqualified, I've told that justice, we know, justice can get delayed, but it doesn't get denied because there is a gestation period, and that is my endorsement enough. So essentially what has happened in the bail order of the trial court is that Judge Nyaya Bindu dispensed pure justice when she said that investigative agencies have not produced any shred of evidence of corruption against Delhi Chief Minister. Now that has been challenged in the High Court, and let us also understand the High Court has not, High Court has not said that Arvind Kejriwal is guilty of something and he'll be hanged on such and such date. They've only said that we will give out this judgment on Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, fair enough. Similarly, trial court hasn't acquitted Kejriwal either.
Exactly. That's my point. So because Harish Khurana ji was saying that he was quoting a quotation from the trial court judge that the trial court judge said that these are thousands of pages. Let us understand that for bail matters, a read of Article 21 liberty is enough. Don't need to read 1,000 pages. I think the judge knew that, and that is why she said that. Now, coming back to the point of Delhi excise policy, very clear that you yourself said right now that the money trail has not been established. But I think the money trail
I didn't say that. I said the trial court has questioned ED saying that you have not established end-to-end money trail.
Exactly, that's the point. But in my view, the money trail has already been established when the BJP has accepted the 60 crore rupee of Sharath Reddy, who is the first accused in the
I don't want to get derailed. We've heard all of those arguments and we have debated all of those arguments. Those arguments will of course be placed in court too. But I want to quickly bring in Ashwini Dubey as well. I'll come back to you, Siddharth. I'll come back to you. Ashwini Dubey, the point that the ED continues to hammer on is that, see, this is not about whether you can trace the money, actual money to Arvind Kejriwal's home or bank accounts. This is a case of vicarious liability. He is the convener of the Aam Aadmi Party and was someone who was the Chief Minister of Delhi when the policy was drafted and came into effect. There are witnesses' statements saying that he told them that they wanted this much money in kickbacks. So this is not about tracing the money to him. This is about his responsibility in the case. Do you think the ED's entire case can be satisfied with just that technicality of vicarious liability, or will they have to prove more?
Yes, Shivani, as of now, the ED has been able to establish that the vicarious liability is prima facie attracted against Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. That is why Honorable High Court has stayed the order of the learned trial. This is one. Two, so far as the PMLA is concerned, that those are the special statutes. Those statutes which are far away from the legal principles as has been enumerated in the normal provisions of Indian Penal Code and other provisions. Three, so far as the proceeds of crime is concerned, Shivani, proceeds of crime does not mean that in actual the money has to be recovered. Here under the PMLA, the statement of the other accused persons, the statement under section 164 and the indirect even proceeds of crime does not mean that the exact money. Proceeds of crime, the vicarious liability, including you are being the head of the estate, ignoring the things which are happening under you, for which you have a knowledge. Third thing is, so far as the PMLA's and the ED's case is concerned, being the convener of Aam Aadmi Party, he has a legal, moral, constitutional and other duties to abide by the rule of the law. By if the Aam Aadmi Party has been alleged anything, then the court has already ruled and interpreted the even company means a political organization as well. So here if we see the Honorable Chief Minister's alleged role in this case is concerned, that is also established by virtue of being the convener of
the court is also remarking, for example, that this man has not been made an accused in your FIRs or charge sheets so far. No court has actually asked for him to appear before it. Then what is the case against him?
Shivani, 9 times summons have been issued. As a student of law, I and as a legal journalist, we both understand that avoiding the summons itself amount to ignoring about the process of law. Had it been the case where he should have approached to the Enforcement Directorate instead of taking it to the road, instead of protesting, he should have gone there and he should have given the material evidences that look, something has happened at my back. I was not aware about it, despite the fact that the money, alleged money, which has been used by the political party, was not in my knowledge. Then this would have been a different case. Avoiding summons 9 times.
Can I ask you though, Ashwini ji, can I ask you, what the common public would be wondering is, in one court, the reading of whatever is the material that you've perused is so different to the other court's reading of both the PMLA Act, bail conditions, the accused liability, etc.? How does this happen? I mean, look at the trial court's order. It's almost like it is condemning the Enforcement Directorate, the Enforcement Directorate that goes to Delhi High Court and condemns the trial court order. I mean, it's absolutely baffling what's happening. You're a lawyer. I'm sure you see some examples of this happening all the time, but this is such a high-profile case.
Frankly speaking, the learned trial court in yesterday's judgment has absolved Mr. Kejriwal from all the liabilities. It is not the case. The Honorable, I'm very sorry to say, but the learned trial court has said that, look, nothing has been found as of now, but it's an ongoing investigation. One. Two, if you see the judgment delivered by the Honorable High Court in the previous round of litigation, where he had challenged his remand and illegality of his arrest, the Justice Swarnakanta Sharma has categorically in her judgment said that, look, as of now, if we see the PMLA Act, if we see the evidences which are there, that speaks of something fishy against him. And that judgment has also found that even the political party is under obligation. So here we cannot say. But one more thing, as has been argued by Mr. Raju in Delhi High Court today, that the learned trial court does cease to exist the powers to grant bail under the PMLA. And here the rule of bail is a rule, jail is an exception of justice.
So why is this bail plea even being heard by the trial court if it doesn't have the authority to give bail?
No, that is what the wisdom, the discretion, the provisions of law says that learned judges should hear it. But as of now, when learned trial court found that no evidence, but those evidences under the appeal has been found by the High Court, the superior order will prevail. Learned trial court found under its wisdom that nothing is against. But Honorable High Court is saying that, look, we will hear and we'll deliver the judgment. So
no, fair enough. Of course, now the High Court's order will go till, of course, somebody goes to the Supreme Court. But interestingly, Siddharth Sharma, I'm coming back to you. The ED ASG today also reminded the court today that, listen, even when Supreme Court granted Arvind Kejriwal bail earlier for election campaigning, they didn't absolve him, that there was nothing against him, which is why he was not allowed to function as a chief minister or go to the chief minister's office. In fact, even at that stage, the Supreme Court never denied that his arrest was legal, which was the High Court's order. So what is it that the Aam Aadmi Party was celebrating? Were you too premature?
No, we were not premature. So are you saying that then if the ED council made that statement, why didn't the High Court today say that, okay, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal's bail plea is totally rejected? Why have they said that the judgment is going to come on Monday or Tuesday? So let us now not going to do that. It's sub judice right now. You were saying something about vicarious liability and responsibility fixing in PMLA cases. Then my simple question is, the moment currency was demonetized in India, new currency notes, paper, ink and vendors got benefited. So isn't that vicarious liability on someone who brought in demonetization? So you cannot stretch these kind of arguments to eternity. And another point to...
But did that individual's party get some money in money laundering? Was that the charge?
Yes, I think the Supreme Court, it's the BJP's Mea Culpa itself by saying that in the Delhi excise policy case, the first accused, Mr. Sharath Reddy, 60 crore rupees, is found parked with the BJP as...
No, now you've gone back to the witness case. I was actually talking to you about the demonetization analogy that you've drawn. I'm not sure it sticks. But can I just quickly ask you, do you think it's important for the Aam Aadmi Party also to be a little bit wary of the fact that every order which comes particularly at this stage, even if it comes in Arvind Kejriwal's favor, is not an acquittal? You almost make it sound like this is the end of the story.
So then is the BJP and BJP ecosystem saying that the same kind of ED cases are still on Mr. Hemant Biswa Sharma? So on some day in the future, BJP is going to put Mr. Hemant Biswa Sharma behind bars. Is it telling the people of Assam that their chief minister is going to be put behind bars after some day? So let us not get into that. I think it's not about celebration. I think I gave an analogy that it's like a ongoing cricket match. There are few overs that go good, you get happy and then you get despondent. But the fact of the matter is that we all know that justice has a certain gestation period, and we understand that justice might get delayed, but it doesn't get denied at any point of time, and that is proof enough of judiciary, Indian judiciary's independence. And one point to make before me, I think Ashwini ji, he's a Supreme Court lawyer, he was saying something about the summons. So I think as Supreme Court is already hearing about the illegal arrest, and that is exactly based on how illegal the summons are. So though that matter is also sub judice, this is a totally different matter, bail matter.
Which is a bail matter. Understood.
Yeah, this is a bail matter, yeah.
Yeah, understood. In fact, I want to go across to Harish Khurana one more time before I go to Satyendra Singh also. Harish Khurana, here's the problem as far as the investigative agencies and the BJP is concerned, and both are interlinked. Let's not pretend that they are not interlinked. The government of the day is the BJP at the center, and a lot of the actions that the agencies take is taken at the behest of the central government. But I do want to understand from you, the problem in this case is this has been in courts for many, many months. Yes, some of the Aam Aadmi Party leaders and former ministers have been in jail with no relief. In Arvind Kejriwal's case, though, it seems like the ED is not being able to convince courts beyond doubt that there is a problem here, that there is a case here. That is the problem, politically speaking, perception-wise.
See, first of all, when you say that government and these agencies are interlinked, no, I did totally deny that, because agencies are independent enough and they have independent everything on independently, so we don't have any hold on the agencies. Whatever the allegation Aam Aadmi Party or opposition make it, the fact of the matter is they are the independent agency and they work accordingly what the merit says. Now what you say about talking about, see, if you see the whole case, since last 2 years this case is going on, and since last 1.5 to 2 years, their close aide, Arvind Kejriwal's close aides, say Manish Sisodia, say Arvind Nair, is also denied the bail multiple times.
Yes,
not once,
but not him.
Twice, multiple times. And in their observations also, many times court has given those kind of observations which is not suited for Aam Aadmi Party. But, you know, Arvind Kejriwal's always what rebuttal is, Arvind Kejriwal's whole government rebuttal is, we have a vendetta politics going on. ED is taking us the... Baba, end of the day, honorable courts is giving you the judgment on the merits of the case. Yesterday also, I don't know what merit they have seen it. I'm not going to comment on that. But I think this is for the first time in the history of judiciary that a vacation bench is giving a bail to such a high-profile person.
Yeah.
PMLA accused for the first time, and that too at the 8 p.m. in the night. I don't know what was the hurry. I mean, I don't want to comment on that. But
no, but you did answer my question. Is the case a little iffy against Arvind Kejriwal, that somehow he's been implicated, but you know, for many months we've not really seen that smoking gun or that clinching evidence against him?
Whether the case is perfect or not perfect, I'm not going to comment on that because I have not seen what evidence these ED has. But whatever we allegate, we have given the proof in the media also. We strongly believe that the kingpin of this whole scam is
okay, all right.
Kejriwal.
Under whose
many of the proofs.
Under whose instructions or at whose behest could something like this have been executed is then the question that also comes to mind. But Satyendra Singh, I'll give you the final word. And my question is the same to you. Something is not sticking, or at least the courts are not being convinced of it. It is not as simple as, let's say, a Hemant Soren case. It is not turning out to be as simple or straightforward as some other high-profile corruption cases. Why do you think that is in this case?
शिवानी जी, ये एक परसेप्शन और नैरेटिव बनाया जा रहा है कि यहाँ कोई क्लिंचिंग एविडेंसेस नहीं है. क्लिंचिंग एविडेंस किसको कहेंगे? क्लिंचिंग एविडेंस मीडिया के लिए नहीं है, पब्लिक डोमेन के लिए नहीं है. वो जो भी जजेज हैं उनके लिए हैं, उनके सामने लगातार रखे जा रहे हैं. इन्वेस्टिगेशन बहुत ही राइट ट्रैक पे है. तो ये कहना स्मोकिंग गन्स कोई मीडिया के लिए नहीं है. हमें कहीं एजेंसी को जो है कोई नैरेटिव नहीं बनाना. एजेंसी अपना काम कर रही है. जो एविडेंसेज सारे रखे जा रहे हैं, यदि एविडेंसेज नहीं होते तो इनकी बेल हो गई होती अभी तक, या हायर कोर्ट्स ने दूसरे जो को एक्यूज हैं उनको छोड़ दिया होता, ये कहते हुए कि ईडी ने जो भी ईडी एविडेंस दे रही है उनमें कोई कोरिलेशन नहीं है, कोई लिंकेज नहीं है, वो पीएमएलए का प्रूव नहीं कर पा रहे। देखिए शिवानी जी, ये सब लास्ट में ट्रायल जब चलेगा तब डिसाइड होगा जी। अभी प्राइमा फेसा इस्टेब्लिश होना है, वो इस्टेब्लिश हो चुका है और किया जा रहा है।
Well, one thing is clear. We were being told that you could barely get bail under PMLA, but I think the courts are showing the willingness to give bail if they feel in any way that there is an overcooked case against somebody. In some cases, other courts are differing as well as far as that matter is concerned. Remember in one of those cases, I think it was Sanjay Singh's bail where they didn't oppose his bail. That is one of the primary conditions that you can get a bail in PMLA. If it is not opposed, then those other conditions that we talked about come into play. Harish Khurana, you wanted to come in? I have 10 seconds only.
Adding on to Mr. Singh also, I mean, you remember honorable judges used to ask what proof you have. When they given in private, I mean, in the chambers, they really show the papers. They deny it. They deny the bails. They deny the relief to the Aam Aadmi Party.
Fair point. That did happen as far as that case is concerned. But I'll leave it at that. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. We are waiting for the final order by the Delhi High Court on whether Arvind Kejriwal can come out of Tihar jail or not next week. But coming up after a very short break, under fire over poll scheme guarantees, Congress government is now roping in a US firm to suggest measures. But what's compounding the problem for them is they're paying as much as 10 crores to this firm to do this for them. That's coming up on the other side.
குடிச்சிட்டு இருப்பாங்க அப்பெல்லாம் ஒன்றும் ஆகல அங்கே தான் வீட்டுக்கிட்டே அவங்க சொந்த இடத்துல அவங்க சொந்த வீட்டிலே விற்றுக்கிட்டு இருக்கிறாங்க. அண்ணனும் தம்பி விற்கிறாங்க, அவங்க விற்கிறாங்க. ஆனால் அவங்க யாரும் போலீஸோ கீழீஸோ வந்து ஒரு கேள்வியும் கேட்கறதில்ல. அவங்க மட்டும் விற்றுக்கிட்டு நல்லா பப்ளிக்காக விற்பாங்க. So
she says that the sale of illicit liquor was done in the open space just here. Every day illicit liquor has been sold for many years, and the police, state government officials, all of them turned a blind eye. It's an open secret that illicit liquor is sold here, and it's not new, and no action has been taken place. It's not banned yet, and they are the ones who are finally suffering. உங்களுக்கு எவ்வளவு வயசா இருக்கு?
15 வயசு ஆகுது. பாய்ஸ் ஸ்கூல் தான் படிச்சுட்டு இருந்தேன். நேற்று வந்து பார்த்தா ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸுங்க சொன்னாங்க, ஏதோ உங்கள் வீட்டில் ஏதோ சண்டை, உங்கள் வீட்டில் யாரோ ஹாஸ்பிட்டலில் இருக்காங்களான்னு சொல்லிக்க. ஸோ அப்போ தான் ஸ்கூல்லேருந்து வந்தேன். அங்கே எங்கள் பாட்டிக்கு கடைக்கு பக்கத்தில் இருக்கீங்கன்னு சொன்னாங்க. வீட்டில் அப்பாவுக்கும் அம்மாவுக்கும் உடம்பு சரியில்லாமல் ஹாஸ்பிட்டலில் இருக்காங்களான்னு வந்து வீட்டில் கேட்டிருந்தா யாருமே எதுவும் சொல்லவே இல்லை. நியூஸை பார்த்த உடனே தான் தெரிஞ்சு அம்மாவும் அப்பாவும் இறந்து போயிட்டாங்கன்னு. அது நினச்சிட்டு நாங்கள் எதுவும் அழுவில் எதுவும் செய்யலை, அமைதியாக தான் இருந்தோம். மற்றவங்க வந்து எங்கிட்ட அழுவு பேச எங்களுக்கு அழுவு வந்து நாங்களும் எது பண்ணிக்காமல் எங்கள் ஆயா பக்கத்தில் தான் போயிட்டு உக்காந்துக்கிட்டோம். நாங்களும் எதுவும் சொல்ல.
இப்போ உங்களுக்கு பார்த்துக்கிறதுக்கு யாராவது இருக்காங்களா? நீங்கள் யாரும்
யாரும்
பாட்டி வயசானவங்க ஒன்றும் மாளாதுங்க,
யாருமே இல்லை. இவங்களும் வயசானவங்க, அவங்க பாட்டி அவங்களும் வயசானவங்க. அவங்களுக்கும் கணவன் இல்லை, இவங்களுக்கும் இல்லை. ஒரு பொண்ணு இருக்குது, ஒரு பொண்ணு, 2 பசங்க தான் இருக்காங்க. யாரும் இல்லை, இவங்களை பார்த்துக்கிறதுக்குன்னு யாரும் இல்லை, படிக்க வைக்கிறதுக்குன்னு யாரும் இல்லை. 2 பசங்க இல்லை, 2 பசங்க.
They've lost the breadwinner of the family. They've lost their parents. There's no one else for them. There are 2 grandmothers, the father's mother and the mother's mother. Only they are there. But now they ask who's going to pay for the rent, who's going to pay for their children education. They had 3 children, all of them in 9th, 10th and 11th grade. Who's going to help educate them, spend for their education, spend for the rent here? They have no one except for the 2 grandmothers who are there on either side. Very, very tragic incident. Many people have lost their loved ones, and here many breadwinners have died because of the consumption of illicit liquor, and for them life has totally changed over the last 24 hours. Very tragic incident, and they continue to mourn the death of their loved ones. எவ்வளோ வருஷமாக இது நிறைய வருஷமாக வித்துட்டு இருக்காங்களா இல்லை எப்படி?
வித்துட்டாங்க. நான் அப்பெல்லாம் ஒன்றும் இதுமாரி ஆகலைங்க.
பல வருஷமாக வித்துட்டு இருக்காங்க.
இப்போல்லாம் ஒன்றும் ஆகலைங்க. எல்லாமே சாப்பிட்டாங்கங்க. வேலைக்கு போகிறவங்களும் சாப்பிட்டு போனாங்க, வீட்டில் இருக்கிறவங்களும் சாப்பிட்டாங்க ஒன்றும் ஆகலாங்க.
எவ்வளோ வருஷமாக விற்றுட்ருக்காங்க?
ஒரு வருஷமாக விற்றுட்டு
3 வருஷமா?
ஒரு வருஷம்.
ஒரு வருஷமாக விற்றுட்ருக்காங்க. இதே இடத்துல உங்கள் வீட்டில் தான்?
வீட்டில் விற்கிறதில்ல, காட்டை பக்கம் விற்றுட்டு இங்கே வந்து வீட்டில் இருப்பாங்க.
இங்கே விற்றுட்ருப்பாங்க.
Welcome back. Now, under pressure to mobilize 50 to 60,000 crore rupees annually to implement its 5-pole guarantees and developmental projects, Congress-led Karnataka government has recently roped in Boston Consulting Group to help with suggestions to boost its revenue. Now, BCG will work with the state finance department for 6 months and has quoted a fee of around 9.5 crore rupees for this. Some of the proposals could be included in next budget. Now, BJP leader R. Ashoka said the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah might even monetize the Vidhan Sabha, the legislative house, to raise resources. This comment follows one of BCG's suggestions to consider monetizing around 25,000 acres of land in and around Bengaluru in its draft report. Interestingly, even as BJP is criticizing Congress for doing this, they had also roped in BCG in 2020 to attract investments in the state. Now, the Karnataka government has been facing the wrath of the public for rapid increases in tariffs, which political detractors say is the price of their poll guarantees. So, take a look at what all has gone up in price. Power tariff, starting from July 1, 2023 itself, Karnataka government increased the electricity prices across the state by 2.89 per unit for those using more than 200 units per month. This was done to accommodate the Griha Jyoti scheme, which gives free 200 units to eligible households. Fuel sales tax. Karnataka government recently increased sales tax on petrol and diesel by 3.92% and 4.1% respectively, making both fuels costlier by about 3 rupees. Stamp duty. After a gap of 28 years, the state government in February 2024 affected this hike between 200 to 500% in stamp duty for all documents that do not require registration. Apart from this, the Karnataka government has recently already said publicly that they are thinking about increasing water tariffs as Bangalore Water Supply and Sewage Board is facing financial challenges. But interestingly, the challenge has come from also within. Congress party appears to be divided over Karnataka government's decision to hire this group at a cost as high as 10 crore almost. Praveen Chakravarti, chairman of Professionals Congress and Data Analytics, quoted Money Control's report while taking to X and wrote, if one wins elections by outsourcing core political functions to external fee-charging transactional consultants, then one also governs by outsourcing core policy functions to similar consultants. All India Professionals Congress Karnataka rejected their own national chairman's stance, saying that they don't agree with it. Certainly, not everyone is seeing eye to eye in the Congress itself. The question we ask is simply this. This is like paying or using public money to fund what was essentially your politics. This kind of consultancy should have been done internally in the Congress party before they made these guarantees, instead of using taxpayers' money after coming to power to figure out how to fund their guarantees. We'll take that to our guests in just a bit.
Praveen Chakravarti, Data Analytics Chairperson for Professional Congress, has taken an open swipe at the Karnataka government for hiring Boston Consulting Group, a group which has been paid a hefty sum of 9.5 crore rupees to suggest measures as to how the bankrupt state can mobilize resources to fulfill Rahul Gandhi's crackpot guarantees, which they are unable to fulfill anywhere. And in response to that tweet by Praveen Chakravarti, the Congress spokesperson has taken a jibe at Praveen Chakravarti, calling him a data fudger and a data thief. This kind of infighting is common within Congress.
First of all, Boston Consulting Group is also been hired by his Prime Minister Narendra Modi to come out with a Vision 2047 blueprint. The central government has hired Boston Consultancy Group. His own father has used Boston Consultancy Group. Mr. Bommai as Chief Minister has used Boston BCG.
Let's go across to our guest joining us. Shatabhish Shivana is spokesperson of Karnataka Congress. Tom Varakan of the BJP with us. Also, R.K. Upadhyay is senior journalist based in Karnataka. Thanks a lot for your time. Mr. Shivana, I'm coming to you first. You know, the question that should go to your party or any other party, for example, is that when you make these poll guarantees, which are so attractive for the public, and they maybe even put other things at the altar just to get these guarantees because, fair enough, they need them, let's say. But you should have done this consultancy in-house, no? Before the elections, you should have paid, the Congress party should have paid money to a consultancy group or an expert to tell you before elections, before you made these guarantees, how are you going to fund this in the state of Karnataka? How is it fair to use 10 crore of taxpayers' money to do this now?
No, firstly, I will not allow myself or the viewers on your show to fall prey to the shoddy narrative that is being spun by the BJP in Karnataka. We are not hiring the BCG to, as a mode for our guarantees. Our guarantees are doing extremely well, and there are 60,000 crores that we have allocated, and we are effectively, sending it out to the needy and deserving. We are committed. We have given these guarantees, and we are committed in delivering.
You
now
don't
the
have
BJP
those 60,000 crores.
One second.
No, you don't have those 60,000 crores. You've budgeted it. You need to recover it through loans and revenues,
No,
etc.
that is a narrative that is being spun by the BJP, and I totally disagree with it. The BJP has underperformed in the previous Lok Sabha elections in this Lok Sabha elections compared to the previous one under the incompetent leadership of Mr. Vijayendra, the flag bearer of nepotism. And now with half-baked knowledge, they're coming to the fore and they're spinning out such a shoddy narrative. I will not accept this even for once. Now, please, I'll tell you why it is shoddy. Is this the first time a government, may it be the central or the state, is it the first time that we are hiring a consultation group or a consultation agency or enlisting them or entering into a contract with them? Absolutely not. I read an article posted by your channel, CNN News18, under BCG's, Boston Consultancy Group's earlier ventures with the government, Center's vision document, Viksit Bharat, BCG, contract in 2023 by the Ministry of Electronics and IT for restructuring the NIC, BCG, Goa government enlisted people. One second, let me finish. Let me finish.
No, one second. There's a distinction. I myself mentioned how the previous Karnataka BJP government, one second, sir, I'll come back to you, has hired the BCG in the past. That was to attract investments. Other BJP governments have done so too. So the question is not whether you need this expertise from time to time or not. The question is, what is the purpose, the main purpose behind this? Is it not to boost your revenue? Is that also wrong?
See, the purpose is to, avoid financial leakages. Now, you are equating it to the guarantee as though we're enlisting them and seeking their help and their consultation only for the purposes of our guarantees. Our guarantees was a promise that we made during the election, and we're committed to it. We will not, go back one step on it. And please let me finish. The Karnataka government, the earlier BJP dispensation, had appointed the same BCG to attract investments. The contract was worth 12 crores. It was worth 12 crores. What is the problem? Are we siphoning anybody's money? Now, Vijayendra, has the audacity to say that it is akin to handing over reins to the East India Company when his own government was doing it, when the central government was doing it.
I didn't want to come to this just yet, but one second. I want to focus on I do want to focus on the guarantees part. I'll tell you why. Because it sounds very nice to say that yes, these groups have been hired in the past too, and their purpose is not just to fund guarantees. You could maybe argue that if we hadn't seen so many back-to-back statements by your own Congress leaders, who to say that, listen, we need more money to fund these guarantees. Your own leaders have said that. Tariffs have gone up one after the other. DK Shiv Kumar is saying we need money and for water tariffs will go up for that. But I'll come back to you, Mr. Shivana. Let me give Tom Varakan an opportunity as well. Tom Varakan, please respond to what the Congress spokesperson is saying. Not the first time a group has been hired, not the first time a fancy fee has been given to a group from overseas. BJP has done this too.
It's very interesting to see the enthusiasm that he's showing in his defense. Well, let me put facts correctly. You can hire a consultancy, no problem, but not when the house is on fire. You made promises which you cannot finance, and you have got the city of Bangalore and the Karnataka state in a mess. now that you want a consulting agency to help you out. Praveen Chakravarti is spot on when he says, look, when you go into outsourcing your policy matters, you'll end up on the kind of situation which Praveen describes. Now, let me ask you one more question. Now, when these guarantees were given, was this cleared by Jairam Ramesh? Because that is the usual practice. It goes to Jairam Ramesh and he consults Raghuram Ranjan and they clear it. Now, why are their talent not being used? There is home talent available for you. Find out when they made those promises, they agreed to those promises. Where are they funding it? I know the inside how it works. Don't teach me that they are not consulted. Nothing, it happens in Bangalore without consultation in New Delhi. The guarantees were cleared from New Delhi and New Delhi has to explain why this financial mess that Karnataka finds itself in. This is the ground reality. Nobody objects to Boston or any New York consultant agency. No, that's not the issue. The issue is when you are in a total mess, when you have to monetize your own property and you are going ahead, the prices across the board are flying. Free transport, 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees. Where do you have the funds to do all this? And on the basis of these false promises, what happens? You get the votes. And now when you've got the votes, you don't know how to run the government. Please tell us, how do you intend to please the public and fund your show? No development, zero development is not me, Mr. Tom Madakan speaking, but this comes from your own partyman. Congressman says there's no money for development, my friend.
Yes, that's the problem. The government may be able to very intelligently, R.K. Upadhyay suggests that, oh, we have the money to fund our guarantees. But then that money has been taken from some other head that the government used to spend on, because magically that money didn't appear in the budget, right, in Karnataka after the Congress came to power. So they've shifted that money from some other departments to fund these guarantees. Even those guarantees took some time to implement and roll out. They had to put some fine print on it so that not everybody could become a claimant to it. They've accepted that this is a burden on the exchequer and the government should have the maturity at least to do so. So the question that arises is whether the new revenue that you try to generate goes to a development, package or project, or it goes directly to guarantees is not the point. The point is you're having to do this because you're out of money.
Shivani, I think we are missing the woods for the forest. You see, there is no point in talking about the consultancy. Consultancy is one part. But what is the state government going to do? You have identified 25,000 acres of prime land for monetization. It clearly shows that the state government is bankrupt and they want to scrap money wherever they can. I mean, is it the way to run the government? And Atik, who's the finance secretary, has very clearly said we don't have the funds for financing this freebies. It has come from the finance secretary, not anybody else. And he says we don't have enough funds and we need to raise it. So last year they spent about 52,000 crores and this year they'll require about 60,000 crores. So for the last 1 year, no development work has been taken up. Nothing, absolutely nothing. And this year again, you want to raise money for these freebies. How long do you want to continue this? Look, the Congress tried this trick once during the assembly elections and they succeeded. And they tried again during the Lok Sabha elections. They didn't succeed to the extent they hoped for. So it is time that they realize that, this thing doesn't work. And people also are not so enamored of this. So please scale it down.
Do you think so, R.K. Upadhyay, that the public pendulum on this is shifting? That the public is becoming wiser, that, you may fall for it, but ultimately it's like taking from one hand and giving from another.
Absolutely, because see, they also felt the pinch. Now, on the other hand, when you're offering these, freebies, you also increase the prices of milk, electricity, the stamp charges. So all this, where is it coming from? From the public again. So they've realized, the game that the Congress is playing, and they don't want to be part of it anymore. So the
or is
government
it?
also should
Can I just
realize-
ask you the
should have
uncomfortable question?
responsibility to,
R.K. Upadhyay, the
just
uncomfortable
just
question or
one
the
minute,
elephant
just
in the
one
room is that there's a certain class of individuals who still go and get enamored by these guarantees in, state after state or city after state. But it's the other class of individuals, particularly the direct tax-paying individuals, who end up suffering the more when it comes to the hiking of tariffs or other, duties or taxes on other items. Would I be fair in saying that you actually cannot change the mind of one class of section of people while the other believes that no, this is not the way to go?
Now, Shivani, the point is the government has to run its business and they should do it responsibly. So that is what the people expect. And they have completed only 1 year. There are 4 more years to go. So what are you going to do with the development? Development works have come to a standstill. And the MLAs are crying. They don't have any money for even the MLA development fund, which they used to give 2 crores rupees a year. That has not come. And in their constituencies, no work is going on. So this is what the government should concentrate on. See, basically, they need to scale down this PDs. It's okay. You have offered it for 1 year. For example, the free bus ride. Why do you want to give it to everybody? Give it to the employees, the workers, the daily wage earners, or the students who need to go, use it. Not for everybody.
I don't see any climb down. It's interesting you're saying this today, that they should be diluted, but I seriously don't see in today's political climate the Karnataka model being diluted by the Congress party. This is the model that was first successful for them as far as guarantees is concerned, and then worked in Telangana as well. But can I quickly go back across to Mr. Shivana? The problem for you is not just what R.K. Upadhyay is saying. No work is happening. The public is not fools beyond a point to not understand that actually no other work is happening, and you're claiming you have enough money for your guarantees. Look at what Praveen Chakravarti, your own leader, is saying. He is accusing you of outsourcing core policy functions to similar consultants as the one that you used to fight elections. Now, you can't blame the BJP for these comments, right? Or this criticism.
No, firstly, I don't know where you're getting the information that no development is being done. There are over 200 projects that was inaugurated in one assembly constituency of Kolar. And why isn't nobody talking about it? Where is the money being generated for this? Now, please listen. Guarantees is taking up 60,000 crore rupees off the budget. We agree that, the implementation is going to take some time and we're working around it. But it's not like, why are you so against the guarantees? It is, why have we introduced it in the first place? So that it reaches the needy and the deserving. And if you had such a big problem with our guarantees,
no, that's why they were not for the needy and the deserving. That's why people objected to it.
Please allow me to finish.
Yeah.
If the BJP was so against our guarantees, why did they implement or announce the same guarantees in the 5 state elections? The very same guarantees. They did it under a different name. And they quoted it as
I'll take that to Tom Varakan, but I have limited time. Please answer my question.
I have one more time. And you talk about Praveen Chakravarti, an isolated statement, a statement that he retracted on, and he's apologized for it, and everybody seems to be making a huge hue and cry out of it. We are not the ones who are privatizing national assets. We are not privatizing and giving it to our crony capitalist friends. I think you are well aware as to who is doing that. And you talk so much about price rise. I will answer your question by asking you a question. In 2014, PM Modi's major issue was price rise. There were celebrities, noted celebrities sitting on the road with LPG cylinders in their head, and that's how they won the election. Has the price of LPG cylinders even reduced 1 single rupee? By even 1 single rupee. What was the price in 2014? What is the price today? What is the price of petrol, diesel and other essential commodities in 2014? What is it today? Has it reduced even by a single rupee?
I don't think people are expecting it to reduce. People are smart enough to understand what inflation means. They just want inflation to be controlled. No, mind you, once again, in the last 10 years, inflation has hovered around 6%, which is acceptable. But I want to go across to Tom Varakan as well. By the way, you asked about the promises made during elections. I also remember that one of the promises that was made when Congress was fighting to come to power in Karnataka was the biggest, the allegation they used to launch is on petrol and diesel price, right? So to come to power and then, increase sales tax can be called your duplicity as well, when in power and when out of power, and virtually every political party is guilty of it. But so I don't want to go down that road. But Tom Vadakan, please explain. You know, Shivana is right about one thing. The BJP has lost some of its moral ground to question these quote-unquote guarantees, because many of your state units have promised these guarantees. They may not have been just that much successful for you.
Well, Shivani, let's get to this whole business of freebies. This plot was started not by BJP or Congress. It is a plan that was started by AAP, and they came to power in 2 states. If you examine that project and the kind of dilemma that they are facing, the chief minister is in jail for whatever reason. So the point I'm trying to make is, people do make promises, but promises and revenue practices are to be practiced. And there has to be economists who can tell you where to generate funds. So wherever the some issue, social matter has been offered, we certainly have the finances to it. Here is the Karnataka government. I can forecast it sitting here, right? Next 2 years, they won't have money for salaries and pension. Just watch out, Shivani, the kind of mess that they're going to be. They may hire Boston or New York consultancy agencies, but he talks about development. Just step into the city of Bangalore and you will find the roads, the payments in such a blessed mess. He talks about development, and he's talking about some pilot projects running here, there, which was inaugurated. Watch his words, inaugurated. And inauguration, of course, they always do. So let me tell him that have a look at the mirror and look at yourself and find out what deep trouble you are in.
Right. You know, I remember ahead of these general elections, there was this whole talk about freebies, quote-unquote freebies. It went to the EC, it went to the Supreme Court, and I wonder what's happening of that, because elections will keep coming every 6 months in India. We really need to get political parties on the same page of how much can they announce as far as their manifestos is concerned. I've run out of time. I do thank our guests for joining us. And we leave you with some of the best visuals of the 10th International Yoga Day, celebrated today, not just in India, but with aplomb across the world. Thanks a lot for watching.
Co-powered by
இது போலீஸ்க்குலாம் தெரியுமா?
என் மாமா போய் சரண்டர் ஆயிட்டா.
எப்போ?
நேற்றுக்கே இது மாதிரி ஆணிச்சு அவங்க பிள்ளை போயிட்டான் சார்.
இல்லை, இதுக்கு முன்னாடி ஒரு வருஷமாக விற்கிற போது போலீஸ்க்கு மாட்டிருக்காங்களா? போலீஸ்க்கு தெரியுமா அவங்க பையன் விற்கிறது?
அது எனக்கு தெரியாது. என்கிட்ட சொல்கிறேன். அங்கேயே நடந்துக்குதுங்க, காசு நடத்துல அவங்க என்ன பண்ணாங்கன்னு தெரியல.
So she is the mother of one suspect who was arrested, who was carrying 200 liters of illegal arrack, and people here say that the mother herself admits that for the last 1 year he's been selling illicit liquor, and this time also while he was selling it's just that some poison was mixed. That's the word that's coming in. Her son was arrested yesterday, and they stay in the same locality. Many of them have lost their loved ones. She, for instance, has lost her brother and sister and brother-in-law, and many say that I have in fact questioned the mother, saying that had he not sold illicit liquor, then the entire community could have lived a better life, because every house here in this locality is impacted. The breadwinner of most of the residents have died because of the consumption of illicit liquor, and many more are currently in critical condition in hospital. And the mother of the person who in fact The mother of the person who was arrested yesterday says that her son has been selling illicit liquor for the last 1 year. That's the word that's coming in. Even as the police have turned a blind eye, the state government continues to maintain that had they known that there is sale of illicit liquor in Kalakurchi, they would have stopped the sale and production. However, the picture here is completely different from what the state government says. In this particular lane, at least 4 people have died because of consuming illicit liquor, and these children have lost both their father and their mother. A very, very tragic incident. They are devastated, and this is the mother of the mother of the lady who died. Enna achu amma?
எனக்கு கள்ளச்சாராயம் விற்கிறாங்க. எங்கள் மருமகன் குடிப்பான். இதோட கை இல்லை எங்கள் மருமகனுக்கு, பீஸ் கை மட்டும்தான். அவன் பெயிண்டிங் இப்போ அடிக்க போகிறான், கை குடையும் பழகுது. அப்போ அவன் குடிப்பான், சாராயம் வாங்கி குடிச்சிருக்கிறான். குடிச்சிட்டு கொஞ்சம் கலாசில் வச்சுட்டு வெளியே போயிட்டு வந்து இப்போ குடிக்கலான்னு வச்சுட்டு வந்துக்கிறான். என் மவ தண்ணியாங்காட்டின்னு எடுத்து குடிச்சிட்டேன்.
CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio.
The Hard Facts viewers, straight from the CNN News 18 Federal Bank Primetime Studio. Friends, viewers, 24 hours is a long time in politics. The cliche remains as true today as it ever was. In 24 hours, Delhi Chief Minister Kejriwal's hopes of emerging from jail as the heroic victim of the NDA's tyrannical overreach have been dashed. You remember, viewers, when he came out on bail a month ago? He came out in this massive procession, standing atop a jeep almost, waving to fans and saying that this